nothing. It is now 4 months since the House passed the HEROES Act, and it would have extended that $600 vision. And what has happened in the Senate? Well, quite frankly, while Mitch McConnell slumbers, America suffers. And so it's been really, we've been trying to get everyone to get that HEROES Act on the floor, get it enacted, but that has not been possible to do under the current leadership of the Senate. I do want to mention that we are days away, well, weeks, I guess, from the end of September, which is the end of the fiscal year. So there is going to be an act to keep the government funded, and this continuing resolution is an opportunity that we're going to be working on to try to get additional funding to address not just emergencies here and in California and the West Coast, but also in Iowa and Texas, places hit by hurricanes. There's many communities that have been affected. We're going to work together with our colleagues across the aisle to try to get more funding to help address the challenges we're facing here.
Let me get into this unemployment issue so that folks have a little bit more detail. As the ranking Democrat on the Finance Committee, I wrote that unemployment package. It's the bill that provided for 4 months an extra $600 per week and coverage for the first time for the gig worker and the part-timer and the self-employed and the like. And then we all watched, Oregonians spend days and days and days trying to get through to the Oregon Employment Department so that they could get their benefits. It got so bad, and in all my time in public service, I've never done this before, I insisted that the state replace the Employment Department director so that we could finally get moving. So there's been some progress, nowhere near enough. We've got a big challenge with what are called the pandemic workers, the gig workers and the like. But I'm being told that the 1 week waiting period is going to be paid out. That money for the so-called 1 week waiting period is going to be paid out in the fall, somewhere in the vicinity of November. And you can contact the Employment Division because basically my law got us the money, and then our Employment Department, I think we may be the last state in the country that still has to get that money out. So that's number one. Number two, on this bill, we're trying to get an agreement on that Senator Merkley talked about. I brought out this past week that there was a survey in August after Mitch McConnell said, oh, we don't need this, we don't need the 600. I brought out a survey that showed that more than half of the people who had been receiving unemployment still don't have enough money to make rent, buy groceries, pay for medicine, pay for car insurance, and the like. So this is one of the sticking points in working this out. Along with the Democratic leadership, I've offered a proposal to tie the unemployment benefit in the future to economic conditions on the ground. So right now, when unemployment is so high, you've got to have the 600. When unemployment tapers off, then it would go down, and that could be the basis of a bipartisan proposal. But just know that I consider this one of the most important efforts I've been involved in my time in public service. And we all saw the lines all over this state a couple of weeks ago where people were just desperate for that one-time $500. So you've got your senators all in on this fight.
Senators, can you speak more, or maybe one of the officials can speak to what you learned inside in terms of, we know last night there was fires threatening some of the cities around here, Dakota, Malala, Colton, and what is going on right now with the fires and the situation coming out of overnight?
Here's one of the big concerns, and I'll let them outline it so we can be real precise. I think my question was, what's the status of those two big fires merging? Because that would represent a whole new set of challenges. I'll let them speak to it and make any initial announcements, but I think the general sense was I got inside that it has not been an official judgment, but if I'm stating this correctly, certainly this is a priority safety concern going forward. Is that a fair rendition, folks? Do you want to add anything to that? Is that a fair rendition?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
The question was about the two big fires merging.
Yes.
And I said that it was a big concern. There wasn't anything official. You all were following this closely, but certainly this was a big safety challenge going forward. That's what I got out of it.
Yep, exactly. That there's obviously, I think it's pretty common knowledge out there that. Yeah, just there's going to be a fire briefing a little bit later. We're going to have fire experts here, but I think all of us know that our concern is these two fires merging. The plumes are very close, and we're preparing if that does happen. So I don't want to speak for the fire experts that are going to be on here a little bit later, but I want to tell you that I think that's a sincere concern we all have, and making sure that we're doing our best to keep everybody safe in evacuation as well.
Can we let Senator Merkley add to anything on this? Jeff, do you want anything on this?
Just one of the things that we heard inside, and the Forest Service can speak to this later, is that the fire that's threatening here, this part of our state, is now the second highest priority in the nation. And what that means, because I asked the question, what does that mean? That means that when there's a demand for extra help, in terms of crews, in terms of water tankers. Obviously, you can't function with this kind of smoke right now, but it means when requests are made for extra assistance, it's the second highest priority in the nation. Given the number of fires that are all over the country, that's encouraging news that they're in line for that sort of support.
Okay,
sorry, I didn't see you.
no, that's okay. Good morning, everyone. Suzanne Flory with the U.S. Forest Service, and just a couple pieces of information. That is correct. It has not been confirmed yet that the fires have merged. They're doing recon using a drone later today. We're not able to use other aircraft because of the inversion, but there will be a drone. So we should have information later today on the fires and status and if they have merged. Also, a Southwest Type 1 team has taken over command of the fire, and just wanted to share with everybody that they have a site on our INCIWeb. It's called INCIWeb. It's a website with all the latest fire information. That'll be a great resource for people to go to get specifics about everything related to the fire. There will be also a Facebook page set up later today for the fire specifically. So that'll have the latest current information, and our priorities remain point protection and human life protection and safety.
Can you speak to that second highest priority?
Yeah, so the senator was correct about the fire and priority level nationally. It's based on a lot of criteria, including what kinds of resources, which would include human life and homes, and those kinds of structures. That adds to the priority level being very high, and so that does allow for more resources to come into this fire and assist this fire as needed. Well, the current acreage is 130,000 acres, and I don't know how much it grew from that last acreage, but it did grow. I don't have that information. They'll have current maps though on that INCI website and the Facebook page. There'll be maps posted there on a regular basis. Thanks.
And obviously, the reason we started that question, the whole issue of the two big fires, merging, is that this is going to be kind of a minute by minute, development. We also asked questions about, Beaver Creek and whether it's being evacuated or not. And obviously, you're going to have to get that, because those are, fire judgments by fire professionals that are going to be minute to minute. I do want to see if any of the state legislators wanted to add a word or two. And commissioners, let's bring them in too.
Thank you, Senator. Well, first of all, I want to thank Senator Merkley and Senator Wyden for your presence here today, and it is a major emergency. And I did thank our staff and our agencies this morning for their work, because I've been in communication with a lot of our community members that are very anxious right now and very nervous about their homes, their families, where they're going to go. And I do want to thank Senator about his statement about our seniors, our vulnerable seniors are worried about where they're going to go. They're not mobile, easily transported. So I'm thankful the county is working on some transportation, and we're going to be getting the resources for that. So I just want to let, and I'm posting it on my websites and our emails, that those resources are going to be available. So I just want to thank all of our community members and our commissioners and our local elected officials for their continued work. And at the state level, we're doing what we can with the employment resources. And my biggest concern now is that the displacement of many of our families. I'm in the housing business, and I know how important it is to keep a roof over our head. And I know a lot of families have lost their homes. So we're going to be working I'm on the housing committee, the vice chair of that, so we'll be working hard to make sure we respond and help our families get rehoused, get their homes rebuilt, and get our communities back together whole. So thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
It's like the Congress, you yield to each other.
Yeah. So I'm Sonia Fisher, Clackamas County Commissioner, and I just have to say, during this unprecedented event, it has been absolutely overwhelming and inspiring to have the support of so many community members. We have literally received thousands of calls to Clackamas County staff and to commissioners for people wanting to help, whether it's housing evacuees, taking in livestock, taking in pets, providing shelter. We have had unprecedented collaboration and connection. You've witnessed that today with our state representatives and our federal government. We have the Oregon Way, which really brings people together, as Senator Wyden stated. We also have the Clackamas County Way, and we also are seeing the whole country come together to support this community. So for those that have sheltered, those in need, provide food boxes for those that need a meal. Just want to say, so appreciated. Thank you so much. And thank you to all those who stepped into the fray, especially those initially shelters in Oregon City, Clackamas Community College, which are now evacuated because they're in evacuation level 2. So thank you to Metro, to our churches. This is incredible.
Thank you. I'm Clackamas County Commissioner Ken Humberston, and I want to remind everybody that we have 2 cities now that have been completely evacuated. They are at level 3. If you can help, make sure you take the opportunity to help them. People can go to the Clackamas Town Center if they have RVs. They can also go to the Portland Convention Center for congregate sheltering. Be aware that there's at least 2 other cities or more that are at stage 2, so please prepare yourselves, have your cars ready to go, be ready to get out as quickly as possible when the law enforcement and fire department communities ask you to do so. And finally, I want to say thank you to the Sheriff's Department and their teams. They have been doing yeoman service for days. I want to thank the fire department, the same thing. They've been out there, 3,000 firefighters on the fire line throughout the state. And I want to say thank you to our Emergency Operations Center folks. They have been on the job 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 6 months because of COVID as well as these fires. So thank you for all of the work that you are doing on behalf of the citizens of Clackamas County. Thank you.
Okay, we'll stick around and visit for a few minutes.
All right, great. Thank you, Senator. Now you have a long day.
Yeah, we're gonna keep rolling.
Well, your presence, I want to let you know, is very meaningful, and our citizens, they appreciate it, because sometimes they feel like, who's caring about us right now, and to know that our federal delegation